All right, guys, today we are gonna do one of the most awesome things in martial arts. Get to the back, attack the back, and take people down from the back. Let's be honest, I don't care what type of fighter you are, self-defense, sport, survival, that the back, getting to the back is the smartest position we can be. Cole, can you turn around really quick? He can't punch me. He can't grab me, he can't hurt me, and I can do all the fun things to him. So our goal today is getting to the back. Obviously, we're gonna be using grappling to get there. From a grappling perspective, looking for different types of tie-ons, arm drags, duck unders, throw-bys. Then we get to the back, we're gonna hit a buttload of takedowns, a bunch of takedowns, I shouldn't say that. A bunch of takedowns, simple trips, mat returns. Let's have some fun attacking the back in a variety of different ways on this TRITAC video of back attacks. All right, let's play with the first series of our back attacks, the entrances. How do I get from a grappling standpoint, hand fighting, to actually get to the back? So we could also do a whole other series on punch defense into the back or punching, striking to the back. But since we're focused on pure jiu-jitsu right now and grappling, let's just go from a grappling perspective.
Just shy of 90.
So the first thing we're gonna work from outside in, and that's gonna be, if we do a hand fighting outside in approach, which means I'm at the outside range, not into the elbow, and definitely not into the shoulder area yet. So we'll work our way through to get to all of those. But when we're in hand fighting range, we're really looking for arm drags. And there's a couple of different ways we can approach the arm drag, both to the rear side and the lead side. But the simple concept of an arm drag is I'm able to move both arms to one side of my body and replace that space with me. That allows me to get to the back, all right? The rear side is harder to get to, but we will probably most likely be attacking the rear side because that's our lead side. So I'm gonna start with the rear, then we'll go to the lead. My first initial attack is gonna be with my lead hand. It's either gonna be an outside or an inside attack. My other hand, the most important one, is gonna feed deep into the shoulder, okay? My first grip will determine on where Cole's arm is. If Cole's arm is down right now, I'm gonna have a top-down approach, and when I take my first initial grip, I'm gonna take a step. Now my right hand is gonna shoot deep. I'm not even throwing my hands, I'm like my right forearm, as deep as possible, so I almost can see my thumb coming out, all right? And now combining my grip and my forearm grip with a right foot step, I'm gonna drag the arm across Cole's body, and my left hand is gonna connect to his hip. And I want you to see how tight my chest is to him, okay? I'm trying to fit my body, my thigh, my whole hips underneath Cole, so I've removed all the space, and then once I get to the hip, I'm latching on and trailing to the back. Now, I'll go over our back clinch in a second, but we're just working on the entries right now. So, again, that hand is lower, I have a top-down approach, boom, boom, and connect to the hip. So this is a really good time to talk about our footwork getting to the back. I briefly said that we connected our wrists, we're gonna take a step. Now, my right foot is actually gonna come in as the next step, like I'm skiing. If, at least the way I taught, at least I remember being taught, if I hit an arm drag, that sometimes we get in this like shuffling or galloping step, circling behavior, like boom, 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 and I try to get around my opponent's back that way. That doesn't work because it kind of sets Cole and I to like this arm drag spin when, if you look at this for a second, I'm in an arm drag, he's in an arm drag too, so I start dragging, he starts doing the same thing. And it's something that I can, whenever I teach an arm drag lesson and people go through arm drags, it happens every single night. So what we try to do is that once we have our initial step, we then take the other leg step to the middle to jam them. So on our first arm drag, I came in a top-down approach on the outside because Cole's arm was lower. If Cole's arm is higher, let's say he's reaching for a collar tie or my shoulders, I'm gonna have an inside-out approach, like wax on, wax off. That my hand will beat the inside. I think I'll use in like the bend of my pinky, my forearm as a little hook, and then I'm gonna pass it off. When we're first learning this, I try to get my students that if Cole's reaching, whoop, I like kind of pass that away. I get used to clearing and staying sticky. Now you're thinking about passing, and then your right arm's gonna shoot up. Pass, right arm shoots up, and I'm back to that same behavior of dragging across, connecting to the hip socket, and getting to the back. One more time. So, whoop, and back, okay? We have to think the arm drag is a counter relationship. I'm pulling him to me, but I'm also pulling myself to him. So we should almost be meeting in the middle. The lead side arm drag is very, very similar, all right? But I'm gonna take a little different footwork. I'm gonna go right, then left. So let's say I wanna come on the outside and go right, left, boom. And I'm dragging and fitting myself right in that wedge. Think about wedging yourself at the end. So I'm on the outside, boom. Now my left leg will wedge in the middle. I use my body and head to steer around to the back. And that's, so right before I get to the clinch, let's talk about, because this will come up a lot today in our back attacks. When I get past an arm, whether under it or I move it, and I'm in this position, my head plays a very important role, right? I don't want to be lazy and hanging my head. The best way to think about it is you are going looking to the direction I want to go. I want to get my body over here, so when I'm moving around Cole, I'm using like my head. I almost like steer it and stay connected to him as we're moving. That to me is like I believe one of the secrets to getting to back and not getting choked during takedowns. You see this happen a lot. I'm not gonna take it down, but say I shoot for double leg. Boom, I have a lazy head. I'm walking right into Cole's guillotine choke. But I shoot for double leg, boom, I'm looking up and around the corner. It's gonna be hard for him to get that choke out. And when you are grappling, it's gonna be easier for you to get around to the back. All right, our next step, after we've worked on the outside hand fighting range, we'll start getting into our clinching and specifically our collar tie and inside bicep control. It's like, if you think about this again, right now we're here, we're gonna work to get to here, next will be here, and then we'll end up here. All of our outside in approach getting to the back. So, now I'm engaging with my rear collar tie, which means my right leg's back, my rear hand's engaging, and when we do engage your collar tie as attack for the head, one of the common responses we're gonna get back from our opponent is that he's gonna go for our head as well. You almost can prove this in a lot of different martial arts endeavor. If I kick Cole, guess what's coming next? Most likely a kick, right? If I jab Cole, it kind of, we have this relationship as humans that, oh yeah, I could do that too type of thing. So, if I go for his head, I'm expecting that his hand to come for my head, all right? And I'm gonna beat it with an inside collar tie. So as I club, boom, boom, I now connected an inside collar tie, inside bicep control, my fault. And we want to think about, our hands are fish hooks, all right? There's no spacing, no gap. I'm not grabbing. Nice biceps, Cole, been working out. Yes, and now I got a good hook, boom. And my forearm wedges itself in a bend of his elbow, and then the bottom of my arm acts as kind of a doorway, all right? My goal is to get my head and body over here. So I'm gonna add a little bit of circle step this way. And as I do that, I'm gonna get heavy at Cole's arm. Again, natural human instincts. If I pull down on something, what's my opponent gonna do? He's gonna counterbalance to pull up, all right? So we got our inside bicep control with our collar tie. I take a small little circle step, boom, leave my left leg it is. Now I've drawn his hip and leg closer to me, heavy on that arm. And now when I think about throwing that arm up and high, taking a step, and then whipping it over my head. If you haven't heard already, I had neck surgery very recently, so I'm not gonna whip and get a clear feeling that I would like to off my duck under, but hopefully you can get the understanding. So we're here, I whip, throw it behind me, and now we're back to replacing and wedging the middle. I don't wanna chase it back this way, my left leg. My right leg's gonna jam in, boom, right to the hip. And when I'm on the hip, I'm getting that hook again. I think about taking my fingers and digging into his hip socket. Like I'm latched on, like I'm a rock climber. I'm hooked onto a handle, and my left leg will trail around. Now is a good time to break down and actually talk about the clinch. So the grip itself, this will probably be a separate lesson. There are, let's say, 3 major grips we are gonna use in grappling and jiu-jitsu. First is probably your universal grip, is your gable grip, all right? And there are 2 placements of the gable grip, my right side and my left side. And our hand position will change. We have a smart side and a dumb side. You can prove this. When I'm on the right side and I have my right hands down, left hands on top, I can connect every single part of my arm to my body, from my elbow, both sides, my forearms, my thumb, etc., etc., etc. When I shift, keep my grip the same, and I shift it to the other side, you'll instantly feel that feels weird. It's like, man, that's not right. switch your hands, like, oh, that's good. So our gable grip is really interesting because if in the middle, it doesn't matter what side we have on, we can stay connected. But as soon as I add my thumbs, I now interlock my thumbs and make my grip. You'll see you're gonna remove that ability to have that tightness and feel. Even though you might feel secure grabbing your own thumb, the thumb's getting away. All right, so if you're gonna be a proficient grappler, especially without the gi, MMA, self-defense, etc., that you've got to, or you just got arthritis hands like me, you've got to learn to use more of your cupping and like scooping and fish hooking behavior. All right, our deeper grip of the gable would be like a butterfly grip. All right, maybe I've got, really, really long arms and Cole's extremely skinny and I need to weave a little deeper. The butterfly grip shows up. I'll be honest, I don't really use this one. Every now and then I throw it in there, but I find that I can get very tight with my gable grip. The last grip is a 10-finger grip, where this is a long-range grip, which made potential Cole is fucking 300 pounds and I've got short arms. I can't get my gable, so I got to go 10-finger. And we'll learn to build our 10-finger by twisting into our gable and feeding into our butterfly. So, spin around again. When I get to the back, that grip lesson plays a big role. My right hand, and Cole's got, you guys see by his pants, like the seam of his pants, my hand, or my forearm, excuse me, is gonna rest right around that spot. His hip socket is there. And that's the spot I wanna control. That's the spot I wanna kink and disconnect from his body so he's not strong there. So right hand there, left hand on top, and I'm looking to the right, to my power side. So I just rest to my left ear, almost right between his shoulder blades, and I have a nice wide stance. My objective and the way I want to feel Cole off balance is by pulling my right elbow down and in a little bit, see what's happening to his hips, and then adding this movement where I can start controlling Cole's posture by having a good solid base. When we are controlling the back, we should have a wide squat stance. It's almost like you're a football player on the line, like ready to block and protect the quarterback. We're not gonna be tall. We don't want our hips in. It's this very athletic, strong, all right, let's go, motherfucker, feeling, right? To a certain degree, if Cole wasn't here, like if he walked away from me, I almost fall over because I also want Cole to carry my weight. If I'm on Cole's back and it's loosely grabbing or having a shitty grip, it's very easy for him to get out, obviously, right? But I want to be heavier. I want Cole to feel like I'm dragging him down, like I'm an anchor pulling him to the ground, which we're going to do, but a little more strategically. So we're here, we got our clinch, boom, boom, inside collar tie. And my initial setup, you already saw it happen. I'm trying to almost do everything together. Get my clinch, inside bicep control, with my shuffle step circling to draw that leg closer to me and get heavy on that arm. So we're fighting, boom, there it is. And I'm right to the hole, right to the back, staying nice and controlled, all right? I have pinching feeling, driving, boom, boom, boom. Nice long legs. One more time, we're here, boom, around, and control, stay nice and heavy. Movement is almost a secret to all jiu-jitsu and all martial arts. That a static opponent or static offense is really not going to get you anywhere. If I just punch Cole without moving, he's like, okay, cool, bro. You're doing great in the bag lately. But as soon as I start moving my feet, now I get a different reaction. Same thing in the back. If I just hold Cole and then try to take him down and not move and make him off balance, he's gonna hand fight, get out, it's nothing. So my suggestion to you, if you're new to tackling the back, you just worked these few skills I gave you so far, get to the back, make your opponent move a little bit. All right, let's go on next, our post and our throw bys. Okay, we worked from the outside perspective, hand fighting. Now we started getting to a little bit of a clinch range where I have my collar tie, inside bicep control. Now I'm gonna get to my collar tie again, but Cole's gonna mirror me with a collar tie. We get in a little bit of this strength battle. And guys, I actually can't stand this battle. I think when we're both in this collar tie position, it's like you're in this ego relationship where you're both trying to muscle each other, prove who's stronger. It does happen more with the big guys because they just, big guys have the ego. I've been absolutely guilty of this 1000%, that when you're in this clinch position, you want to show that you're stronger than your opponent. And as I've gotten older, more injured, and smarter, hopefully, that those behaviors in myself have started to subside, because I can learn, and you can too, learn a lot more by just being fluid and movement and yielding, right? Jiu-Jitsu means yielding science. Not everything has to be a force on force equation. So we try to, if I see my students getting in these heavy muscle battles, I don't shame them, but I'm like, fucking move, guys. Come on, let's go. We're not, it's not a cockfighting contest, all right? So we're here, and now we got to clear this arm to get to the back, and there's two major ways I'm gonna do it. Post, and then a throw by. They're both awesome. If I had to choose one that's more effective, it's definitely gonna be the throw by, but the post has some good lessons in it. So first, I think about making my hand a C, called C grip. And there's Cole's funny bone right underneath his elbow. My goal is to take the webbing of his hand, my hand, excuse me, put it in Cole, pop it a little bit. At the same time I pop, step, level change. Right foot steps in the hole, lash onto the hip, spin him around to the back. Sound familiar? We do, boy. The simple objective, guys, is to like stabilize and lock this arm up for 1 second, not even 0.01 seconds, so I can slide underneath. So you don't need a lot. Pop, boom, boom, and go. All right.
Doesn't matter anymore who's winning the gold or silver. It's really about the performance. Beautiful. Nice duck under by J-Rod on the back.
Throw by, this one is money. I think this could almost be used as a takedown itself. In fact, if we could somehow find this video, one of my top wrestling-based, well, I should just call one of my top students, Patty, is got one of the nastiest throw bys I've ever seen, and he competed in a grappling match about a year ago, I think, where he had a throw by, which was meant to just lead Patty to his opponent's back. Instead, the kid's head bounced right off the mat. It was fucking great. All right, so we're back in our collar tie, and the difference of the throw by is I'm gonna use my forearm. So my initial setup, it kind of looks weird, like I'm almost like curling my hand down and trying to, this bony part of your forearm, the top part, like you're trying to fit. Earlier I said I got that C grip underneath the funny bone. Now it's the forearm is trying to fit under the funny bone, all right? Now our goal, small step left again, and we're going to think about turning and whipping our right elbow over the top, almost at my rear foot. Small step, turn over, whip, boom. Now this one's a little different. Well, I'm not jamming the middle now, but I've got this kind of weird interest in control. If I'm a complete dick, I actually start going right to a bulldog choke, right? Or, I'm just doing the whole thing again. But right here is fine. Boom. Boom. I start coming to the back like we were before, and now I just fall my hips into it. When you learn to be sticky in martial arts and jiu-jitsu and grappling, that I'm able to stay connected to my opponent, not this grabbing behavior, but like sticky, floating, like I'm just part of his movement. And that takes time, it takes energy, it takes like tactile sensitivity. But when we're kind of transitioning out of our throw by, boom, I'm just kind of floating Cole. Keep my hips on him, leaning into him, making him carry my weight. And as I said earlier, the back attack's the big part of this. That my opponent is meant to carry my weight on the side, forward, etc. Right? So one more time on a throw by, great technique. We're here. Get that arm, whip it over, boom, boom, look in the other direction, get into that hip, falling into your clinch, boom, start your attacks. Finally, what we've been waiting for is actually taking people down from their back. Talk a lot of bullshit about getting there, now let's smash them. So guys, there's a lot of strategies we can take from taking someone down from the back. Some are strength related, lifting someone up, bumping, and mat returns. Some are very trip oriented. We're gonna hit Tani Otoshi and Tai Otoshi, two of my absolute favorites. And some are a little creative, little weavy, a little very attack oriented, rolling right for the submission. So we're gonna have Cole and Chris work on some of these today and integrate them with those setups we've done already. So their job right now is gonna be obviously focusing on the takedown. I'll coach them through it, but they can use any of the setups I went over to get to the back. As long as they give me a setup and maybe try to variety it up every now and then and make sure that setup is true. Don't half-ass your training. Every time you get to the back, get a good setup, get a duck, arm drag, etc. And when we get there, we'll take them down. All right, so it's in our first two mat returns. Who feels confident on these? All right, good. All right, so let's have Chris come up first, and once he gets to the back, I will pause and we'll talk about it. Very good. Nice throw by, he gets it back. Okay, so a mat return is either a lift then a bump, and we're gonna try to bump with the inside of our thigh to get Cole's feet to travel up in the air, and as that's happening, Chris will drag him down to the mat. So he bumps, boom, and knees, and gets him down to the ground, okay? Our goal is to get him in a turtle position, knees down, hands down. So Chris is very strong, so he's able to kind of like muscle a little bit. Nice. I know you are, no, that's what I'm saying. So it's kind of show, as I was watching, I'm like, yeah, he's a strong fucker. You're too strong when you roll, according to everybody else you roll with. Yeah, I'm kidding. Actually, if you ever roll with Chris, he's a phenomenal roll.
Gentle.
Very gentle, very creative moves. He's just fucking good. So people, they look at him like, oh, you're strong, bro. Strong is a compliment, means he's good. All right. So, again, please. What I want you to do now, though, is get a little hip into, get a little air time, and bumps, boom, clears it. Very nice. All right. Simple. In nature, get him up in the air, and this is why I like the correlation. Chris is our strength coach, and we talk a lot about how we improve our students' performance on the mat and our athletes' performance in the cage, in the ring, etc., and how the movement patterns we need to do, and working a lot of triple extension, cleans the sandbags, kettlebells, barbells. You're just creative as hell with it, which I love about it, and our clients love it because you challenge them in a variety of different areas, okay? So next mat return is similar in nature, but what he do is hop around and bump, and then use his own thigh to attack Cole's thigh to get there. Are you good at this one, or you want Cole to do it?
Yeah.
You know this one?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Cole gets his connection, hits his duck to his back, and now, you're using this side, right? Yeah. Okay. He's gonna be hopping around, and as he hops around, he's gonna do that kettlebell clean again. Boom, and gets Chris' hips up in the air and brings it back down to the ground again. One of our wrestlers here, Zach, he's competing this weekend at CES 78. He has a beautiful mat return. We can find some footage, we'll link it in. But again, it's that duck, big lift and bump, boom, and back down, okay? Mat returns, both of them are very simple in concept. You are using your hips, your connection in your thigh, whether you're attacking directly with that thigh or using it in the air to get your opponent down. So mat return is very popular from wrestling, and we are doing TRITAC. We are definitely blending multiple arts in one. We started off with a heavy wrestling-based entries. Now we're doing some wrestling takedowns. Let's get in some Japanese Jiu-Jitsu takedowns, our Tani Otoshi and Tai Otoshi. All right, so let's get back to, Chris got the back, and let's start off with Tani Otoshi. Let's set this up first. So he's going, you're gonna go to your right or left? You're gonna go that way, okay. So the way I should have answered that question for him, whatever direction he is looking, that is the direction he's gonna go. So you can already see that Chris has gotten a little bit of a cheat step to his right side. He's gonna take his right foot and get it fairly close to Cole's right foot. And then his left heel, his goal is to hit right here or deeper, and the back of his calf and Achilles will essentially come down like an axe to the back of Cole's, and then Cole and Chris will fall on their hip. So watch what happens. Boom. And nice. Okay, up again. Very nice. Okay. Now, people can get stuck in this move very easily. They can do this move and have success with it. They get their opponent down, but not able to get their hips on top. Why? Can you lock your arms together at the end? And boom. This is what happens where Cole essentially lays his body, can't help it, that's with his grip on Chris's arm, and it's whoever's stronger and can get their hips over quick enough is gonna win this exchange. So instead, it was reset. Watch what Chris does now with his left arm. As he's going down, after the point of no return on the throw, he's gonna open up and put the left arm on the ground. That allows him to spring back up to his feet, okay? Why don't you start, which way did you start that time, this time?
Yeah.
Okay, so start whatever opposite was. Yep. Good. Now watch his left arm. Boom. Right on the ground. Okay, that's allowing him to have that stability to rotate his hips on top. What I like about that takedown is that it opens up. You're almost right in the mount right off the bat. But there's actually three main things. Can you cycle through Kosoto-gake, armbar from there, and maybe even back take from there? Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we'll have Chris do 3 reps. He's gonna go entrance, Tani Otoshi, to Kosoto-gake, entrance, Tani Otoshi, armbar, then entrance, Tani Otoshi, and back take. Go ahead. go smoothly do things like this. So pause. See how his right arm was fed right between. All he does is feed his choke in, hop off, and get his body low and finish. Okay, guys, I have a whole other video on kata gatame. We don't need to go over the details on it now. All right, next armbar. Now watch his right arm and snake through again, works his body up. Nice high position, establishes Kimura grip, legs come over, and finishes the armbar. Very nice and fluid. If we keep our energy going, our movement going, like we talked about earlier, you can go right from entrance to takedown to submission in a quick beat, right? And lastly, back take. Combination of him forcing it and Cole by turn, that as Cole turtles up, Chris gets his seatbelt grip and his back take and starts establishing his hooks, etc., etc., etc. So a big point of this last series with Chris was just get you guys thinking that these, in jiu-jitsu and grappling and martial arts overall, it shouldn't just be a one and done or a static endeavor. We can get very fluid and very efficient by continuing our movement going and just kind of flowing with the grapple, and these are great representations of how to do that. Okay, let's hit Tai Otoshi, one of my absolute favorites. Actually, I'm gonna put a caveat in both of these. Can you get this back again? Just grab his back. Okay. And stand up. And I want Chris to come over too far on his Tani Otoshi, where he's gonna do the same thing. Well, you're actually not gonna do this. Where he would sit to his butt and fall to his heel. My students do this sometimes, and what ends up happening is they sit right in Cole's knee, and the knee will go this way and buckle, okay? I hate to admit it. You can let go, please. This has happened twice at my school. Once one of my older fighters, Max, you've actually probably seen on his channel, and once on Kaylee. And both the situations were exactly what I'm talking about, but also both the situations where Max did not want to go down against his opponent, so was fighting the technique, fighting gravity, and eventually his ACL gave out, and Kaylee, same thing, did not want to go down. The guy, I remember I was actually watching it, the guy who did it to her was being a little aggressive, a little crazy, wasn't perfect in his technique, but she also didn't flow the easier as well, so they both kind of got injured. My point I'm saying is, guys, one, make sure we start these techniques for Tani Otoshi or Tai Otoshi that you're starting fairly squared up. I'm gonna go to my right, so I'm starting fairly squared up. My right foot steps just to his foot. I'm not trying to get all the way over here and then sit, right? So watch out, bud. When I come over here, it's just whoop, whoop. I actually feel like Cole's is gonna trip over my leg and his body will fall over, not like I'm actually destroying his knees on the way down. Okay, Tani Otoshi. All right, I'll show you the slow sequence first, and I'll build into fast, and then I'll have Chris wrap it out. On Tani Otoshi, we tripped here. On Tai Otoshi, we trip here. All right, so my left foot steps, right knee down, left leg out like a side kick. Can I stay connected? Pull him over my hips. My leg is then either gonna attack for leg drag, or if he's turtles, we go to the back, all right? Now, that's bullshit done slow. We have to do it, can you come back over here? We have to do it with a little speed. So all I'm gonna do is I jump, and I end up right in that position. When I'm jumping, one more time. I'm jumping to get here. I just have to have the confidence to jump in the air, drop my knees, and hang on to my opponent. The hardest thing when we do any dropping, whether it be drop Ippon Seoinage, drop Tai Otoshi, etc., that I have to have when you're shooting a double leg, I have confidence that my opponent is gonna break the fall and that I'm in 6 inches of padding, so I'm not gonna destroy myself. So as I jump, it's really not much hurting me at all. I'm staying really connected to Cole. He carried my weight and very easy to start attacking, okay? So, good, I want you to rep out a few. Over here, bud. Good boy, yes. Everybody loves Tai Otoshi. Good, nice duck. And boom, very nice, all right? Now I want you to think about this. Can you do it again, stop right before you throw them or take them over? Pause, okay. Now you see Chris's foot, an angle is that way. Put your toes straight up in the air. Okay, imagine if Chris's foot was straight up in the air and he brought Cole's weight right on top of his knee. Obviously, that's a very high chance of Chris blowing his knee out, okay? So we make sure the toe's pointing that way. And for some reason, Cole does come on his knee, it'll point the knee down to the ground and save Chris's knee, not come straight on top of it, okay? So you do this technique, make sure your toes are actually pointing in the direction you want your opponent to go, okay? Again. Boom, and right away. Very nice, very slick. Love this technique, absolutely love this thing. So cool, looks fun, looks cool, it is cool, but really not that hard to do. I think once you just get the feeling of it, it's like, okay, no problem. And we've been doing back attacks a lot past couple weeks, and I'm definitely like, this is one of the series I've taught, and I'm definitely seeing it show up more and more. Smart technique, easy technique. We just gotta get to the back, and a lot of these things open up. Okay, let's hit 2 more. Starting off the leg. 2 more, little leg weaves, and then Kosoto-gake after that. All right, now let's attack the back, and with this particular series, we're gonna go a couple of them, except for the last one, Kosoto. The main objective of this is to start getting to a choking or attacking, finishing position right off the bat. So even though we've gotten to the back, we're not gonna try to take him down and then progress to a choke or submission or a break, whatever you're gonna do. Now, my goal is to start setting up those things right off the bat. So we're gonna start off with, why don't you do the double leg kick out first? The jumping kick out, that one. Do you know that one? Yep. Okay, good. And then we'll start weaving and we'll finish with Kosoto. So, all right, Chris gets it back again. And there are these times in Jiu-Jitsu where you're finishing a sweep, where you're behind your opponent, and you take your insteps, put them behind your opponent's legs, and kick out. So what has to happen this one so Cole doesn't bust his knees at, Chris is to jump and then fall back to his butt and kick Cole's legs straight out with his feet. Beautiful, okay. Now, let's do that again, and let's have you stop. Like once, like, and stay connected. Whether you're rocking to a side, that's fine. It doesn't really matter to me, okay? But just stop and stay connected. Good, all right. This is actually the weird part of the technique. A lot of things can happen. Chris, if Cole is slow enough, he starts pummeling in for his hooks. Whoop, whoop. All right, and great, he's got hooks. Now the next problem he has is, since he has a body clinch, he has to undo one arm and come underneath or over, and start establishing his seatbelt control, wrist control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a little bit of these transition points, all right? Or now come down, kick him over and guide him to the side and come up either leg drag pass or just a side control. We can use this as a takedown itself. So he comes up again, he gets his back, he jumps, boom, guides him over to his side and comes up either turtle, leg drag, etc. So it can be used as a takedown, but also be used as a way to attack for submission right off the bat. Go ahead, one more time, one or two more times each. Just get to a good, strong finishing position. Your choice of which one. Good, and one more. Stay nice and tight like a backpack. Jumps, feet behind, kicks, and comes right on top. Very, very nice, setting up his chokes. Great simple technique, takes a little bit of confidence. Got to, again, jump in the air and basically fall on your ass a little bit. Definitely more of a sportive technique, guys. Would you do this in a self-defense situation? I guess maybe if you're, I don't know, if you had to. I mean, would be my first choice. You know, probably want to pick someone up and slam them in the head into the wall first, but jumping and kicking their legs out, you know, I guess I was there. But let's now go leg weave into the finish, okay? So the leg weave, I believe it came from wrestling, but you see it used everywhere, especially a lot in MMA against the cage. It's pretty smart, all right? First, my hands are shifted a little bit, and I'm gonna weave in. And I'm like actively curling my toes, and then I'm gonna start going backwards, and then think about kicking my right leg out, all right? So now I've gotten Cole a little bit away from me. I can connect like a lockdown on the bottom leg, maybe force him down. I can just triangle the bottom leg, all right? Or if I feel I can get my hook over. I can't right now, so lockdown works. Once we get our basic clinch, I have to start building, so a little kick through. Won't get my arm out, right to the back, and now we're starting to choke. So let's do that again. Boom. round, through, weave, kick it out. And then my lockdown, I'm gonna catch, so I was here, my outside foot is gonna catch, feed, straighten. Now my right hand can clear out. I'm keeping this nice and locked in. You don't feel comfortable. His leg is pointed to the ground. Very easy to start bullying him and doing a lot of mean things, which is just fun. Hey guys, very last one. We're now gonna do leg weave to Kosoto-gake. Very simple combination that works so well. I see Zach again talk about he's fighting this weekend, pulling off, and you've been pulling off, and I've been pulling off. So let's watch how this works. Go ahead. So Chris will do the same exact setup again. Gets the back, hits the leg weave. Chris and Cole is strong as shit. So all Chris can do is put his right foot in the middle. Then he uses his left foot to pull his heel and Cole's heel to his ass and dumps him on his butt. Again, please. Over here, Brucey. Whoop. Hits the weave, destabilizes Cole, puts the foot on the ground, and trips. Very, very nice. Clean combination, okay? And it's one of those ones that you can start, you don't have to be in the back. You kind of almost side clinch, weave it in, and just another really creative way of getting the back take finish. So, guys, a lot of information in these videos, and that's my goal when I'm putting all this TRITAC stuff out, is I can't say enough to inspire you guys. And I've been talking about the gym and TRITAC, what it means to us, and our goal really is really inspire transformation through martial arts. That hopefully you guys are gonna get something out of this, that you are inspired, that you want to go out and train, you want to try a new technique, or maybe you've never even done martial arts before. In this video or others I've done, inspire you to actually go out there and learn and discover this awesome world. Well, that's the goal. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, throw one of those likes, subscribes, all that. I would appreciate it. And that's it. Thank you. Oos.